262 public episode. I got the episode number correct this time, and no one's going to yell at me. I'm not in trouble.
Shout out to your family.
You're not grounded. You're not getting spanks.
262 area code. I'm going to look it up. Hold on. I want to be on top of shit this time. I want to Southeastern Wisconsin.
Okay. Yep. Kenosha.
Yep, I was testing you.
Oh,
Kenosha,
shit.
that's right.
I was thinking
Me and Michael knew that.
I was thinking this was familiar because, yeah, I was like, whose number do I know? Who do I text all the time that's from 262? Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse.
He actually only traveled there. His area code's probably different.
Oh, yeah. Well, he picked up a burner
when
phone.
He traveled, yeah. He got a phone
He forgot his phone and got a burner phone.
He's the Kenosha kid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The Kenosha kid killer.
It's going to be cool when he goes through puberty and he can grow facial hair.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing about the Costco. I know we always talk about them, but the Costco boys.
Everybody's been talking about the Costco boys.
They're on Fallon, right?
I know. Did you see the clip?
Fallon hated it.
Did you see the clip where they start yelling at Boom and like Fallon's like,
cuts him
all right.
Yeah, he looked disgusted.
Because he knew their dumbasses were going to do it 5 times in a row.
You tell he just want to reach for a little shooter of vodka.
Yeah, like imagine being
why
him.
Am I not drinking?
He's so hungover because he stopped drinking like an hour ago for the show, and then you just have these fucking morons on your show. And his dad who wants to be a pro wrestler.
It's like idiocracy shit.
Jimmy Fallon wearing his "I paused my beer to be here."
You can't even make fun of how stupid culture is because it's like it feels hacked to even point it out that it's like a guy like a failed actor or whatever who wants to be a pro wrestler. And he feeds his son cookies to get him on TV.
All day long.
He got his son really fat to get him on TV.
The Rizzler's not even his son. He's getting his He's getting his relative fat, his kid's cousin fat.
Yeah, like he's just that boy is in for some.
The Rizzler looks like if they made XL bully humans and they made one of Ramzan Kadyrov from Dagestan.
Yeah, he has the same breathing patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Yeah, requesting at the bully breeder that you want Ramzan Kadyrov.
It is funny because like they keep inviting the Rizzler on like those like podcasts, and I keep seeing clips of them, and they're like, "Oh, Rizzler, what's your like 5 favorite Italian foods?" And then it's a 3-minute long podcast like clip because he can't think of 5 different foods. He's just sitting there like, and he's like
he's
10,
a kid who like
so it's whatever,
didn't learn
like,
to talk because they
really
just fed him.
Yeah.
He looks like he was stunted in like a cube cage.
Yeah,
like
that's
one of those Japanese
I don't know. He could be
watermelons.
like,
yeah,
he
like
could be like 10 or like 17.
Bonsai kittens.
Yeah, he's like one of those square watermelons.
Yeah. But the fact is, like, they're inviting him on this podcast, like, oh my god, we're gonna get the Rizzler on, and he's just this little kid who like doesn't know anything.
Yeah, like kids don't have.
They were like,
they don't have speech capacity. It's like the same thing with kids that are just looking at their iPad all day and like not going to school and not talking to anybody during COVID. How they weren't able to talk as well. They like lost the ability to have a conversation. He just has food in his mouth all the time. He's chewing so much that like he's had no chance to develop the neurological things in his brain.
Do you know what's scary to think about? AJ Bufumo, the dad, the father.
Mm-hmm.
We know
And
he's
I'm
the
father.
freak that's been wanting to, he's like Boston Dad basically, like of wanting to get
Oh
famous
yeah,
and
absolutely.
shit.
Successful boss.
He's been trying to get a reality show for like a decade, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I said like weeks ago, just as a joke, that he's a future family annihilator, which is awful to say.
Well, he's doing it currently with food.
Well, now that I know that he's also a fucking former pro wrestler, that's not good. That's CTE. Chris Benoit.
Oh, he's a pro wrestler?
If he buys a Bowflex, they need to take it away.
I don't know how pro he was, but he wrestled. He CTE wrestled. Like the lower the league, I think the more the CTE at this point, because they're gonna have like less
more
rules.
bumps.
They're gonna have less
That's
rules.
What the pro wrestler I worked with said.
Yeah, but I do think he's just gonna be a family annihilator with food, at least for like his son and.
Yeah, he's gonna do anything. The Rizzler will probably
boy.
survive because chances are he won't be sleeping over. You know.
Yeah, that's true. So technically, he can annihilate everybody.
He goes home to his parents and they make him throw up.
There's a bunch of other sub characters in that universe too, but we won't acknowledge that. Don't introduce any more new characters. The Rizzler was the original new character, and they keep trying to introduce like the sister,
they got the mom.
Yeah, the grandma.
They had the mom and the
Rizzler's
sister.
dad keeps trying to squeeze in too, but everyone hates him. He sucks.
Well,
Get him
I went to the Rizzler's cameo page.
I thought you were gonna say like this bar mitzvah. I went to the Rizzler's bar mitzvah.
Yeah, it was fucking lit. I got fucked up. It's $150 for a cameo from the Rizzler.
Yeah,
and in the first one, his fucking dad's in it too.
They do. They have a They have a their cameo is $75 more than Nigel Farage's, who is a world leader.
Man.
Yeah, one of those individuals most responsible for fucking up the UK.
Yeah.
And the Rizzler is one of the individuals most responsible for fucking up America.
Well,
this is what we've come to.
What I've been really hating is Tom sending me this family that's trying to get some of that juice, some of that heat.
The Disney loving one?
No.
No.
Those guys are cool. I like those guys. They're good at dancing.
Yeah.
What are those guys called again?
Dear and Darling.
Dear and Darling. No, they're
Fuck you.
great.
Good shit,
No,
Dear
there's
and
this-
Darling.
They're Mormons or ex-Mormons.
What's this other one called?
I'm trying to find it in my DMs, but it's just
Extreme
pictures of fucking
Mormons.
Jeff Hoopman. But
There's nothing wrong with Jeff Hoopman. Everyone gets
they might
mad.
have gone
Mark Hunter
private or
Biz.
deleted some of their shit temporarily, so I can't see it. But it's a family that like
It's a family of 4 or 5, and they're like, they'll do this thing where they'll order like a whole bunch of fast food or like cookies.
it's like a
in front
dozen
of them.
crumble cookies, and they like sandwich them on top of each other and fucking pour Nutella on it.
The youngest kid always goes, I'm going to have a double Big Mac. And then like the mom or another kid goes, I'm going to have a triple Big Mac. And then the dad goes like, I'm going to have a quadruple Big Mac. And they stack like 4 Big Macs on top of each other, smash them down. And then the dad will pour like Nutella or whatever on it and then just take a bite. And like, that's the video.
Oh my
and they keep
God.
making like dozens of these videos.
How is that
Send them
okay?
to Ben and Aaron.
Like, they made
It's
McDonald's
not-
stop advertising to kids. That's why you don't see Ronald McDonald. You see Grimace a little
Yeah.
bit in the advertising stuff, but you don't
And
see
it
scares
McDonald's kids commercials that are cool
Oh.
with all the like the Hamburglar and all that shit, because people were
Yeah.
like, they wanted to crack down on it because kids were getting too fat. But then that shit's okay. We're just encouraging that.
I guess like it's these people are just they're just abusing their kids and using them for content. Because what's the point of having kids if you're not going to make money off of them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me get some hits.
They're
Let me
not
get some
playing
viewers.
sports. Like,
You gotta fatten them
Yeah.
up like a veal calf.
Yeah. Or well, then you don't really let them eat the food, I guess, is the solution there. You go, okay, kids, we're all going to Crumble Cookie. We're getting 12 cookies and we're going to smash them together and you're going to take one bite and then we're going to throw it away. And I'm going to scrape it out of your mouth because it's bad for you.
Even
It's
if you don't
terrible
eat
for
it, that's
you.
got to destroy your brain so
I know,
much.
it's
like the kids who
psycho.
grew up, the kids who grew up and their parents are like unboxing creators. They just buy
it's
stuff from the
weird.
store and unbox it and film it. And then the kids are learning that that's how you make money. Like, that's what adults do. Like, those kids, even if they don't eat the McDonald's, they think like this is what a grown-up does. You
Oh,
get McDonald's
yeah.
from the store and you get way too much of it, and then you film it and you put it on the internet. And then people say,
Yeah,
that's
that's
so
normal.
cool.
Bro,
We love
we,
this.
we knew families that they just didn't know how to have fun. Like, we'd go through our fucking sports cards that we knew, like the ones we had were worthless anyway. They were sold in like giant lots of like 10,000,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Like, people know what they
Oh
got.
man, you would live so long.
Oh yeah, and I will.
Mhm.
But we used to go through those, and our friends would be freaking out because you go to their house and all their shit's like sleeved, even if it was like the most dog shit card, and they treated everything like that. One of those families I was like that was they did the worst thing that I've ever seen. That's almost, the more I think about it, like as I'm older, the more fucked up it is. They were like a very straight-laced homeschooling Catholic family, and their kids had all the best Legos in the world, but they would make them super glue them when they assembled them, and then just display
it's
them.
so fucked.
Because they didn't want to step on them.
They didn't want them to break and
Yeah.
be all over the place because they are like
You know what I would do?
messy. They're messy if you have dumbass kids that like don't keep them. Like,
Yeah, but it's like
If I was one of those parents, if I was one of those kids, what I would do is I would leave Legos on the floor but super glued. So the dad would step on it and he would be like, oh, fucking leave them on the floor. And then he would try to pull it off his foot and it stuck.
no, even worse. You like kind of shuffle your foot over it and just cut it open across because it's super glued, so all the weight of your body just slices your foot across the corner.
But like that is psycho to me because you're stunting your kids like creativity and like
Yeah.
This is the point
ability
of
to do
Lego.
anything. Yeah, like Lego, you're not just supposed to build like
Build models.
yeah, you're not supposed to just build like you can only have like this pirate fortress. This is it. Like that was my big one that I got as a kid. That was like my most expensive
was
one I got
sick.
for Christmas was like yeah, like it came with like the blue like the for like the sea and so like the whole you could put stuff on it, but like oh it's only gonna be this. You can't put anything else. You can't set up like You can't have like a Star Wars guy go on there. Don't fuck it up.
That's why I'm like
that's what an adult Lego like fan does, which is okay. Sure, you're an adult. You have no creativity.
First of all, there's so many other cool things that you can glue together and display, like fucking model planes and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, things that are made for that.
Why do you gotta ruin the Lego? Because now we can't play with them. Now we gotta go to the kid's house whose parents don't give a shit, and all like 40,000 Legos are in one box, and there's also like trash in there. But guess what? We had more fun there.
Yeah, those are the cool houses where you have the big Lego box that looks like a Lego, and there's trash
That's
in there.
what we had.
And their mom's dirty tampons are in there.
You always want to hang out there, but you never want to spend the night. You didn't want your house to be that.
Yeah, the house where you got mad at the parents for being so messy, so you would flush the mom's dirty tampons down the toilet to get the dad mad at the mom.
The kind of house where at 7:30 p.m. and you're playing outside in the fall and it's getting dark, and you're like, do you guys want to spend the night? And you're like, yeah. Then by like 9:30, after your mom said yes, you're like, fuck this. So like too late. You're
waking
like
your
shit
mom
about
up
it.
to come pick you up.
Yeah.
There's an emergency. They tried to make me drink. The dad took his cock out. They tried to make me hit a crack pipe and said it was
the real
okay.
thing that happened to me. That one kid that liked his
Just lying.
his milk sour, and they made
Hate
me
it.
drink the
Hate
sour
it.
milk
That's
with it
so
too.
gross, man.
It's so
Sour
funny
milk
that they
is
were
so
Greek.
funny.
It's so like stereotypical. We like the milk a little sour.
I
so
fucking drink
weird.
yogurt, you freaks.
It has a date on it.
I'll never forget them. The
Get some
papiliosis.
kefir.
Was that the same one where they would like reuse the milk from the cereal bowl?
No, that was another weird homeschooler family that
Let that go sour.
they'd pour their cereal milk back into the jug instead of
Man,
drinking
no wonder
it.
you were homeschooled, man. You go
Yeah,
home like, oh, these kids I went to school to drink sour milk. These ones like reuse their cereal
Bro,
milk.
those
I'm
dude,
pulling you out of that fucking
homeschooled-
school.
No,
But they were
those were
homeschoolers.
other homeschoolers.
Ah!
Those
Yeah, of course.
kids
Well, that's
were
what I mean.
schools.
everybody I've talked
Dude,
about so
we
far.
cannot have
except the sour
homeschoolers.
milk kid were homeschoolers.
Yeah.
I have known so many homeschool
I knew we
kids
had public schoolers
and,
too when I
like,
went, but homeschoolers
yeah, of
were
course, but like
by
Mike-
statistically, homeschoolers are way weirder.
Yeah, the public schoolers, at least there's a chance for other people to bully those kids and be like, why are you doing that shit? Why are you doing all
it's
this
not
weird
about
fucking
bullying.
shit?
We've talked about it before. It's
Or
not
even
even
just
like it's just
seeing it.
you get you
Sheltered.
get socialized. Yeah, you get
Yeah.
socialized and you go to other people's houses and you see what like isn't normal, but like here's what they're doing. Here's what they're doing. Here's how I can speak to another human being. And then the homeschoolers, they all huddle over like with their bowl cuts together, all like 8 of them, and they like
Dude.
can't look at another person. And if you like go up to them, they'll like huddle together in like a tight circle, so you can't like break their flank. You can't.
They do what I call they go to dances and do the loser jump, where they all go in a circle and jump so nobody can talk to them or get close to them. And then when they're younger, and they, like Tom said, if you go up and try to talk to them, they get all nervous. They do what I call pee-pee pinching, where you can see they all of a sudden have to pee and they start like shuffling around. They don't have to actually be pinching it, but they're just like, oh no, now I'm nervous. And it, like, I made a lot of friends. Like I made a lot of those kids come out of their shells because I was good at it.
Yeah,
But their parents,
it's not their fault.
They hated the Hudson Boys though, because we were like, we're the fucking. Have you seen South Park kids? Like we're
Oh,
we were the
no.
last kid. Like we were the public
VeggieTales only.
school homeschoolers. Every parent hated
Yeah.
us because we were just normal.
Yeah, like if you're doing that shit, you better hope that you have a family farm and that you could put all those kids to work on the farm. Because that made sense like 200 years ago. If you just,
Yeah.
like, there wasn't really a public school, you would just have 10 kids and they would all be weird and they would all really only know how to, like, listen to the dad and talk in the weird family lingo. Because it was all insular. Because, like, you have to walk 2 miles that way to go to the store to find another neighbor. But now, like,
Yeah.
unless you have, like, even on a farm, you don't need that many kids. So the kids are going to have to go out into the world and get jobs. And they're going to find out that, like, oh, wait, most people don't purposely drink expired milk. And it's just going to be such, like, they're all going to be like mock tax, where they go out in the world and they're like, oh, don't we all, like, wear clothes with big holes in them and have a wet spot on it?
Bro, they would. They also did the thing where we'd always make fun of it because my family didn't do it, where they would have like a ton of boys like we did, but they'd all give them the fucking shave your head every 6 days haircut. Like their kids always looked like they were fucking in a work camp because they were essentially. And
But like,
every
man,
probably 3% of every homeschooler I ever met, and it was a lot because homeschoolers, because their beliefs align for the most part, you can get together and like the parents prefer that over you hanging out with public school kids in a lot of cases, and it's just easier to like set stuff up because homeschoolers aren't doing shit. So those are the ones that can like go do something on like a Tuesday afternoon, you know?
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Well, what do you got to pull them out of class?
Yeah.
No.
So
they're just fucking there.
Those, like I said, about 3% of all homeschoolers I knew were, I could say, cool, and I still talk to or like keep in touch with. And it's because we all were like sneak off during the church festival at 16 to drink or smoke cigarettes and like be normal teenagers.
Yeah, like normal people who aren't like, I'm a very good boy. I love respecting my mom and not swearing. And if I hear a swear, I run and tell the teacher.
All those I'm a very good boy people did the same thing where they half them went to Steubenville, Ohio, which Tom probably knew a ton of those kids too. And then the other half went to Immaculate Conception, Ave Maria down in Florida. Both are like Catholic kid homeschooler to college towns, very trad cath. And they all go down there and get a girl pregnant and get a felony record for like DUI or something all in like 1 month. The first month they're there, they all do that.
And they say she was driving.
They act up.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's
9 months pregnant. She was driving.
She was driving.
The baby was driving.
Sorry,
Yeah,
the
the baby
baby
had one of those things. We had one of those things in the car, like Maggie and The Simpsons. Like Maggie and The Simpsons, which I know I'm not allowed to watch, but
like all those kids like are taught at home to like not speak up, be quiet. Like your father, your mom is speaking, like do not talk. So like none of them just know how to speak. None of them know how to like talk to anybody.
You better hope the dad's
like,
around forever.
Any authority figure, yeah, exactly. Well, any authority figure is like, well, that's mom or dad, and like I need to like respect them to the level of I need to respect my mom and dad, and then you don't know how to like speak to anybody, and so they like get a job, you know, maybe at like a grocery store bagging, and that's like best case scenario for them like being socialized. They get a job bagging groceries, and then like can't look anybody in the eye while they're bagging groceries, and everyone's like, well, let's not go through that aisle, let's just avoid this
one guy that I knew hired a bunch of homeschoolers when they were like just at this point he hired a bunch of guys when they were out of college, and then even dudes that weren't out of college just for like I don't even know what he did, some sort of engineering consulting thing, but he got a bunch of the nerd kids working for him, and it was good. It was high paying and shit. He did one of the funniest, douchiest things ever, though. He did that, and then like 4 months later, sold the company, and they were all fired.
Oh shit!
Like here's your job, and everyone's like, "This is awesome. We're working with all these people we grew up with," and they're all like, bragging about how much money they're making and shit. Then they went to work one day, and the doors were just locked, and everything was out of the building. It's crazy.
Damn. Yeah, the best. Some of the homeschoolers I knew were like tall, like Frankenstein creatures. Just like thick monsters, and like those people ended up being just like a lot of them are just like manual labor people, which is like perfect for them because they can just like put their head down and just like get to work. And
yeah,
like,
that's what they're designed.
Great.
They're designed to bale hay. That's why people used to have that many kids and just keep them home all the time and just have them working when they're 5, just baling hay.
But then you get people, especially now, like you get people like mock techs who are like
they're
probably homeschooled, very homeschool coded, and like they're not athletic, and they can't do anything. They haven't learned anything. They don't know anything. Like their education is so far behind just any normal like high schooler because their parents just teach them that like Jesus did everything. And then they have no social skills, so they can't go out into the world. And like when that tweet that he talked about the Donald Trump costume where Donald Trump's wearing a McDonald's apron, he's like, "Oh, where can I get one of those?"
Yeah,
hey, buddy,
I know where you
know.
can get
Maybe
one on McDonald's.
McDonald's.
The same place I got one when I was 16.
It's so funny to be like on the internet so much that you've been on DeviantArt since like 2009 or whatever. But also, if someone asked you like, how is a rainbow formed? And he would say like, God did it to promise that he'll never flood the earth again. Like that'd be his answer.
Yeah, that is like such a fascinating and frightening type of person to me. Like the insulated autistic kid whose interests are like frozen when they're 12 years old, but then it's also like stuff their parents
doing like Sonic
in the
OC
Bible.
and Christina Grimmie adjacent looking women.
Yeah, it's like stuff you like when you were 12, and then the Bible and like whatever your mom's watching on TV, and somehow they never get that inkling in their brain to be like, I want to act like a grown up. I want to like read a book, or I want to like I guess it's like it's culturally encouraged in some way, like
dude,
with like the Melanie Mac shit, where it's like I like My Chemical Romance, and I like the games I had when I was 12. Isn't that cool? I wish it was 2005, and like there's no example of what it means to be like a normal adult who's like wants to go to college or something.
Yeah. Well, Moktek can't even fathom going to a gym because he found out they cost money, which
Yeah,
he has a
that's
lot
true.
of different things to learn for somebody that can actually operate a computer. And
But luckily for him,
Just
he
run
mows
around
the lawn
outside.
for 11 hours a day. Well, that's what he does. He mows the lawn for 11 hours a day, like you said.
yeah, he works out in the garden and covers the holes,
He sure does.
his oozing holes. But it's
Like, yeah,
it's so
again, that's a
cool.
guy who just he has no concept of like what is money to him. Money is something mom has.
yeah.
Money is not something he could actually get. It's like, well, mom has the money.
He has that feeling
Like,
I got.
It's
he has that feeling I haven't had to have since maybe I was 14, where I'd go,
Mhm.
oh dang it, I'd have to use a credit card to buy that because it's online.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel that, and you're not just like, I gotta kill myself or I gotta get out.
yeah.
Like I would rather,
Like,
I
you're
would
in
rather
your
be
30s.
homeless. I would just start running.
Think about it, you are this big, like essentially a medieval peasant that just got dropped into this time.
But without
And,
the ability to bale hay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
peasant without many uses or functional strength. He's one of those guys that
Mhm.
looks big, but he's big, literally big for no reason.
Yeah, big for no reason.
Yeah.
And imagine how good it would feel. You're in T-Berry, Kentucky. You think like scientifically rainbows are God's promise, and Lara Croft's DEI jaw is the only thing that's ruined your day in the past week. Imagine how good it would feel if it was like just a starry night out in the mountains in T-Berry, and you're looking up and you hear what Moktek, the song you heard for the first time like 3 months ago, "Man of Constant Sorrow" by Soggy Bottom Boys. That would hit so fucking hard. That would hit so right.
That would make your
Being
life.
in that position.
Yeah, get him to watch all the Coen Brothers movies.
Oh my god.
Show him the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, he would not
yeah,
understand.
maybe.
Big Lebowski'd turn off as soon as he saw boobs, and then his parents would turn off, and then they'd make him sleep with the lights on, so and no blankets, just in case.
Well, then he would just
I was-
jack off. He would have to jack off to the last thing
That's
he
what I
saw,
mean.
which
That's,
is
we can't
like
do
the
it.
first 5 minutes of that movie.
Moktek's
They're gonna have the
movie,
lights on. They're gonna take
help
away
me,
his
where
blankets.
art
He can't
thou?
hide.
My-
We don't need him making a stain on the on the futon.
Just trying to jack off. You're remembering George Clooney. You're like, man, I don't want to jack off to him, but I know his wife's name is Anal Clooney,
Yeah.
and I'm just thinking about what she must look like, and she must be so
Mhm.
hot.
Anal. If
I'm
her
just
name's
gonna imagine
Anal, I
her.
bet she's hot. She's probably like a double D.
He's imagining Anal Clooney, and she has PS1 graphics, and she's white.
This is George Clooney's ass.
yeah. She's,
Yeah,
That's very,
it's just George Clooney's body with a woman's head,
very
like a
good
Lego.
joke.
I do
I'd
like
still hit.
Moktek just having no functional strength. It's like Hodor from Game of Thrones, but if we had to carry
If
him
he couldn't
everywhere.
hold the door,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if he was open
It's
door.
like they put him on the sled instead of Bran. And they have to drag him around.
I want to be doorman from Game of Thrones, where I just sit there. The door is wide open, but I'm just sitting there on a stool, like asking for a tip.
It's
My-
too hard.
My
Well, I didn't know it was gonna cost money to
my
hold the
water
door.
buffalo seems to have given up. Moktek and his he has like a stamina bar like Fortnite when you sprint. Let that
He
puppy
stands up. And
refresh.
he's got to sit back
I mean,
down.
technically everyone does, but his would be visible like that, where it was like,
Mhm.
tss.
What he needs to do is work out 6-7 times a day, like Outlaw does.
Well, yeah. If
Yeah.
you go to the gym, you'll live longer than all of your haters.
That's right. And he's got a left hook that'll kill you.
That's the thing that's depressing too, is that like guys like that, they get to a certain age and they're able to have a debit card and a car, and then they just do
Mhm.
kid stuff. Like even
Yeah.
like growing up in
I mean-
Seattle and having like going to public school and having access to all this shit, they're still frozen at that age where they're like,
Yeah, but
I just want to
me,
go to
that's like-
McDonald's as much as I want.
That's
and like
infinitely better
kids'
to me
anime.
because you get to at least like you have the wherewithal to go out and do that and enjoy it.
Yeah.
At least
Like,
you get some vitamin D.
You can like at least Outlaw can drive himself to McDonald's and get a bunch of food. Where Moktek just has to be like, well, Mom, I think you're hungry for McDonald's today, right? You've been talking about McDonald's today, right? While she's sleeping in her ear.
No, I think
Uh,
Moktek waits till his mom goes to sleep, and then he sits down with a big napkin that he ties around himself. Then he has a fork and a knife, and he has one bean in front of him, one baked bean. He leans
Yeah.
over and
One
cuts it
little
in half.
One magic bean.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, Outlaw, like they're all stuck in like, Arrested Development, but
Oh,
at
Mr.
least
Outlaw, you seem stuck.
Yeah, at least Mr. Oh, Mr. Allen, maybe eat some more food. Maybe we can grease you up.
Oh, I guess.
But at least, like, again, like at least Outlaw took that step of like getting a job and finding a wife and getting a license. Like, he's a fully functional member of society. If Outlaw didn't film
on
himself,
paper,
do
on
these
paper, he is
embarrassing
fully
things, on
functional.
paper, he's paying his taxes, he's contributing to the world somewhat. But like, if he didn't film his videos, he would just be a normal person. Like, there's a normal kind of
the guy that delivers the car parts.
Do you want to hear a nice Outlaw highlight from his stream this week? And Outlaw is one of the highest functioning guys we watch. And we admit that freely.
Mhm.
But he's still controlled by his feeder, and his wife is so fed up with his shit. She came in the other day and brought his crumble cheesecake in during his live stream because he wanted to live review it. And the whole time he kept giggling and saying, "This has been my only meal of the day. So once I eat dinner later, it'll be about 2,500 calories, right, Nick?" Pretty good, guys. 2,500 calories. And then
For a meal?
he ended up eating 2 crumble things, so it was 2,500 right there.
Oh my god.
But anyway, she comes in and she goes, "Be careful, because last time he got this, the top of it fell off in the kitchen and he tracked it all over the house."
Oh god.
So
Oh,
and he like had that on the stream and like
yeah.
He's
She
like,
said
"Okay,
it loud
I'll make
enough
sure
so
to
you
do
can
that."
hear it, and it's so funny.
yeah, like I would just kill myself right then.
Yeah, how do you
I would just
not?
I would start tying a noose.
Like,
She's so
that is the-
she was like, you could tell she was like, and he tracked and left a trail of it all over the house. He fucking walked through it like it was poop.
And she's not talking to the stream. She's talking to Brian.
She probably thought it was dumb.
Yeah.
She's talking to his sexual handler.
his sex creep handler.
Like, my god, dude, what is he, a fucking dog that just gets into something and just tracks
Yeah,
it
just
all through
tracks
the
it all
house?
over. He's like a Roomba. He's like a Roomba that runs over dog poop.
I can imagine him in socks walking through some chocolate and just tracking it all over the house and looks like poop. And his wife probably saw on the bottom of his socks while he's just sitting there eating it. And she's like, "Ugh."
Man, and you know his like dumb lazy ass like steps in it and like sees it behind him and goes, and then just keeps walking.
He steps in it and
tracking
sees some
him.
of it that's like he didn't step in next to his foot and goes,
Yeah.
"Whoa, almost stepped in that," and keeps going.
Shaking his foot, trying to get it off instead of like wiping it.
Just taking off his sock.
Taking the sock off and slapping it against the wall and just leaving.
Oh, it's nice to know he makes like such a physical mess all the time.
Oh my
too.
god, bro.
Like that's
I was gonna
comical,
pass
man.
out. Yeah.
It's not even real. It doesn't
it's
sound
awesome.
real that this oaf who cannot do anything.
In his
is
new
also
video,
just
he reviews
stepping and
he reviewed an alarm clock from Amazon that also charges some phones, not his. And
that's unfortunate.
I thought this thing was like a $19 piece of shit from what it looked like. I looked it up from the store he advertised. It's $53.99.
Jesus Christ.
And it's not because he wants it. It's
man.
because he thinks he's going to get sponsored by the company.
And my favorite part about it, when he's holding the box up right at the start of it, it says alarm calc. COLCK. He paid $55 for this thing that's not even spelled right, and the store he advertised is already gone. And this motherfucker, man. So at some point in the video, I think it's around 109. If anybody wants to go watch it, he forgets what he's talking about. And he's like, "So let's try this," and he said like, charging, and then he didn't say anything, but he dubbed in him saying clock. So funny. He just hear it dubbed over while his mouth is closed. He goes, "Clock." It's one of the funniest things ever.
Yeah, that's what makes him so compelling, is because he's like a mix of a really dumb guy who's basically a 2-year-old in an adult's body who just wants to eat candy and get a mess all over the floor. But then he also like has this sociopathic need to be famous and like trick people. He's like Patrick Bateman, but if he was like a 2-year-old
like
at the same time.
If he was Patrick Starr.
Yeah, Patrick Star Bateman.
It's called Huey in the News.
Like, I got sponsored by a new company, and it was really good.
It's also been fascinating to watch him like become worse mentally because he
won't
has like sleep apnea that he's dealing with. He's just like drinking and eating whatever
drinking,
he
which is
wants, and he's getting
hilarious.
older. Yeah, he hates drinking, but he's
But he
like
does
Brian's still making him
He
drink.
chokes it down if
But,
they're
like,
sugary
yeah.
enough.
Brian
Yeah,
should just give him GHB.
Yeah, you think and make it easier.
Like that's kind of the point. That's the point of why Brian's doing that. Just give him like GHB or ketamine or.
Here's the other thing: when there's
Put him in a K-hole.
Outlaw gets into like another full cope session during his stream on Sunday, where about 40 times he brings up, "Guess who was watching me, Nick?"
Yeah.
Guess who was watching me? He was so happy, you could tell. And
Yeah, we pulled it up because I looked at my YouTube page and it was the entire thing. It was like 8 instances of him going live
so
and then
funny.
going offline and
Well,
then trying to go
went
live
live
again.
on his. He went live on his computer and on his phone at the same time, trying to figure out which one worked.
And he made an infinite stream, and he went live like 40 times on the YouTube page. It's actually a cool hack.
And
like a
it's so
Mr.
funny
Beast hack.
because I don't think it was even. It might have been scheduled like 6 months prior. Like one of those things where he says, "Well, I'm going to be doing 3 streams for you this year."
Yeah.
And then as soon as he gets it working, he's looking at his phone. He's like, "So what's going on? What do you guys want to talk about? What do you So it's like, why are you even doing this? Why do you fucking go live to be like look at your phone and be like, "So what's I can't really think of any stuff to say. I don't know."
At some point during his cope session, starts talking about calories again and how he's going to the gym, and Brian basically calls him out and says, "You're eating like shit. Like you're definitely eating like shit. Like it's a bad diet."
Yeah.
And
I would
Outlaw
know. I
keeps-
made you do it.
Outlaw keeps giggling and saying, "My crumble addiction." And then at one point while he's eating the crumble, he goes, "I'll go back to eating normal tomorrow."
We
What
shouldn't
does that
have
even-
crumble
What does
cookies.
that even mean? And then his justification for having 2 crumble cheesecakes for dinner was, "All I ate today was 1 drumstick." Nick, do you know how much 1 drumstick is? It's like 150 calories, man. And Nick goes, "Drumstick? Oh, drumstick from where?" And Outlaw goes, "Popeyes." Come on, man.
Popeyes drumstick being
But
150
you also want to tell me
calories.
Outlaw went to Popeyes and got 1 piece of chicken? Is that even
I mean,
possible?
no, of course not. No,
You fucking
I mean, no.
liar.
Well, you could technically, I guess, get like an a la carte. Like, can I just get one? They'd be like, oh, get the fuck out of here. But
Man,
also, one drumstick, unless it's like a wing from Pop, it's deep fried. It's not 150 calories,
No.
right? And then
Either way, I don't believe
also,
no
no,
matter
of
anything
course
he
not.
says.
No, of course, he didn't eat one
So-
drumstick.
And later, after this,
I'll look
goes-
too.
some more cope. He goes, "But I found some carb pills I need to start taking again." What the motherfuck is a carb
Pills?
pill?
223 calories.
Yeah,
it was
thank
probably
you.
the thing that makes you. It's like a diuretic.
Oh, maybe
That's what I would assume he was talking about.
I don't know what he's talking about. Just the fact that he said carb pills,
Or it's like
which sounds like
hydroxycut or something.
he's trying to take like
yeah, probably hydroxycut.
a supplement
the
that
new version.
gives him carbs. It's so funny.
Yeah, it
like,
gives
I
you
hope he's
carbs.
just
He's not
taking
taking
a
dextrose.
literal sugar pill. Yeah.
he's bulking.
It's in his Vulcan area.
I'm making this. Oh, and
Yeah.
then if you want another treat, something where I don't know why he started doing this again, but he says phone for like when he says phone.
Phone. He says
went live on my
food,
phone. He says
talks like
about
a valley
50
girl.
He says about 50 times that stream for some reason. He'll keep like it'll be like dead silence. He'll go, "Nick, earlier I went live on my phone. It looked pretty good." And I'm like, why are you saying it like that? He's so
Yeah.
confusing.
He's like he talks like a girl in California who was a fan of Tiffany in like 1987 who has like 2 phone lines in her room to talk to her friends.
My phone.
My
Also,
phone.
Fan.
he's I don't know if I'm just noticing it now, but he says that he has a Midwest accent too, despite being from and living in like Washington his whole life. He says hashtag. Hashtag.
I wonder if that's like because
That's, like, so Yinzer.
Yeah, hearing old
I
people.
don't know
Because there are a lot of old people that talk like that.
Yeah, I guess
because they
so.
live in like Idaho.
I gotta
so
use
that
my
could,
credit
like-
card.
A lot of people out west are also from like Pittsburgh, so who knows what accents went
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. It's something that I think about a lot where it seems like in the past, most 44-year-old men were able to like have self-control and they weren't just eating
Mhm.
fast food all the time and eating candy. And it seems like I've been trying to figure
Yes.
out what that was. Like, what was it that made boomers and like older generations not be boys forever and eat like shit? And it feels like it's like their wives yelling at them is the answer.
Maybe. I don't know
Well,
though.
that's
Maybe it's
not,
just
I don't
'cause-
know if that's
Maybe it's because. Do you know what I think it is? The generation before that just didn't have such a wide array of such good comfort food that people turn to for everything when they feel any sort of like stress. They like I need all of this type of shit right now.
Yeah,
like, Outlaw
that's
does
the real
same
black
thing.
pill.
Yeah.
That's what I end up like concluding is
bread
that it's
pill.
just there's just so much of this shit around that
Bread tube.
like it
Don't mind
was
if I
just a
do.
like lack of access to that shit that kept like our grandfathers from doing that.
There's a large push now from like Zoomer generation where they're like largely more sober, largely more into fitness and like optimization. And
Well, that's what we're talking about.
That
Like
type of
Outlaws.
shit.
It's like
So,
a
like,
direct response to
We're
it.
talking about Outlaws type guys, whereas people are definitely like, I think that is them
It's a
looking at that
swing.
generation and being like, I don't want to be like
Yeah.
Yeah,
this.
it's them looking at like millennials, like who are just have complete arrested development. They're just remembering their childhood over and over again and wanting to be 12 forever. And they look at that and say it's so spiritually empty.
You got to be 13 sometime, kid.
But like I wouldn't say that like boomers like are eating like they ate probably fine back then because they just had to like they had the access and like that was what they expected. But I mean, you look at carnivore,
You let
and
them
that's all
wild.
boomers, and and like that's boomers who are like embracing this like Gen X millennial. We can do
That's
whatever we
true.
want, and we're in charge of our diets, and
Yeah.
we know better.
It's such a depressing thing where like it's like when you say like we shouldn't ban kids from having things because it should be the parent's responsibility.
Yeah,
And then you're thinking of this image of a parent that's conjured in your head, and then it turns out the parent is just like a millennial who doesn't give a shit. It's like a
Yeah.
guy wearing a Rick and Morty flat brim. It's like, oh fucking, you do whatever you want.
The live-in the live-in planet that I'll share on like Instagram and stuff. It's this guy who was grooming this girl, and then he
I
has 2
remember
kids
him.
with her. And they when Starbucks opened their fall menu, him and his girlfriend woke their like 4-year-old and like 2-year-old son up at 4 in the morning.
Sucks.
4 in the morning to be the first ones there so they could record it. And do you know what those children got? They gave them fucking cake pops at 4 in the morning
Yummy.
as it being
Yeah.
like, oh, thanks, and you love this, and it's so great. But it's like you're 4 and 2, and the first thing you feed you force them to get up at 4 in the morning to go to Starbucks with you. You dress them in their matching pajamas, and so you can film it and pretend like you're a good dad, and then you give them cake pops immediately. First thing in the morning, artificial like sugar, added sugar, like all this fucking shit. Like that's the worst thing you can do. But those people are like they have
Yeah,
kids.
those are the
and they're
parents.
just
It
doing
feels like
that.
there's like I always have this feeling like you're just like reaching around in the dark trying to find like this authority figure who will tell you like, no, you can't only eat candy. You can't fucking like watch TV for 18 hours. Like it feels like that's just like maybe a phantom that we imagined, or if it's something that went away completely. Because you look at boomers and they're doing the same shit. They're watching TV for 18 hours and eating horse shit. And it's like, whoa, this makes me feel good. So why wouldn't you do anything else?
That's literally what they're doing, though. They bake it into every election cycle too, in the culture war. Even with Obama back then for his second term, it was Michelle Obama's taking all the good foods away. Well, my kid will eat wherever the fuck he wants. He'll eat 4 packs of Fun Dip for lunch.
They're
Fuck
mad.
you, bitch.
Like
And that's one thing that the Zoomers, at least, even like the Nick Fuentes people, have some understanding of.
Latinos.
Latinos. There's nothing really like conservative or like radical or reactionary about just saying like we should eat hamburgers all the time.
Red Scared
Like
was doing that
McDonald's.
last week.
Yeah, they're trying to do that too. Where they're like, actually, McDonald's is really
McDonald's kind
good.
of cool. It's based.
Like McDonald's should be free. Like I like all the capitalist shit that like made stuff the way it is, all these corporations, but I wish the corporations would be a little bit nicer to us and just make the prices lower. Like these like McDonald's and Walmart, these places that were just chasing the profit motive the whole time at the expense of the common good, and that all they care about is the profit motive. And when that was working for 40 years, people were like, "Oh, this is great. I love Ronald McDonald. I love the Walton family." And then as soon as it like gets too expensive or they don't like the advertising, they're like, why don't they care about us? Why doesn't McDonald's care about the common good?
Kamala's trying to get those votes too from the fucking people whose politics are snacks. How they're like, we're gonna bring your grocery prices down. I was dying at something Alex said. He said Trump's gonna get elected and make them sell groceries at cost. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's so like.
What are the things gonna happen? It's so weird.
Yeah.
It just gives me this horrible feeling,
don't
like
know.
hearing people complain about that shit. Like people just
Yeah.
buying like just fucking like a green Monster and a big thing of Skittles and being like, "This is
$7.
$7? Are you fucking?" It's like, dude, you're 50. Like, how do you not feel bad about this? How do you not feel bad that you're complaining that you're complaining that sour candy like I agree with them in the aggregate that I wish groceries were cheaper. I wish everything wasn't so expensive. But then you just hear shit like that all day long where it's like, I can't afford to buy a jet ski.
There's that one guy.
like, okay.
I can't think of who posted right now. One of you guys might remember, but it wasn't even that long ago. I think it was one of those guys who's like a black conservative, like Terrence Williams type guy, like black influencer, the conservative influencer, and he did one of those like, this grocery cart cost over like $800. It was the craziest shit ever. It was like a bunch of flavors of Go-Gurt, like the fucking like Kelsey Brothers cereal, like 6 boxes. Like,
That's the thing. Like
so
that's
funny.
that's what pisses me off so much
Every
about
kind
this
of chip
stuff
on the
is, like,
shelf.
Every time you see posts like that complaining about grocery costs,
so
complaining
funny.
about how much all that stuff is, and they're buying just complete dog shit. They're always buying nothing that's on sale,
Nothing that's on sale,
brand
no coupons,
fucking
not using the
cereal.
app.
Yeah, not doing
It's like a kid would
anything
buy
to
groceries.
like save money. Yeah, it is. It literally is. Just throw it in the buggy. That's what I like. Throw it in the buggy.
2 different flavors of those things that change the flavor of milk to taste like cereal.
Yeah,
Peanut butter and jelly mixed together. It's shit
Produce
like-
has
yeah.
gone way up though.
Yeah,
Like I
it
always
has-
used to think
it
it was
has
bullshit
gone
because you
up.
could buy produce and it was cheap and
Hey.
you get a bunch of shit for
Yeah,
cheap.
If you don't
and
like
now,
it, Aaron, you need to vote.
yeah.
that's true.
No,
On that
yeah, I
note-
agree with you.
We're like a week away from the election. Who's gonna win?
I know.
I
I
have no
think
idea.
Kamala.
Yeah, I think Kamala. My gut says Kamala.
I'm gonna go against
I
you
wouldn't
guys
be
and say
surprised
Trump's
if
got
Trump
this
wins.
shit.
So
Michael's
I was
rooting for him.
I was in Vegas on the weekend doing ground vibes based reporting,
Okay.
and so now I can write it off because I talked about it on the podcast. Just kidding, I'm not
There you
going
go.
to. But
Do it.
I didn't see a single piece of like Kamala swag. So I was in the States right before the 2016 election, and I mean
Yeah.
Trump won that one as well. But you at least saw like a whole bunch of like Hillary
Well-
Clinton shit. Like when you go to a tacky gift store, right? There's like a Hillary Clinton mask and a Trump mask and like a keychains and type
Rarely.
shit.
The thing is,
Well, isn't there was a? I think you just missed it by like 2 days because they changed the sphere to be a Kamala ad.
Oh really?
Yeah, and also
Yeah,
like the
I
Grateful
must have
Dead
missed
guys
that,
who are like
Because they had
Yeah.
the
like
Grateful Dead guys who like they don't live at the Sphere anymore. They're not at the
Yeah.
Sphere
Yeah.
anymore. But like the Bob Weir was posting shit, and then Mickey Hart and
Mhm.
all those guys like are coming out endorsing her.
People who like support Trump were always more willing to buy his like dumb bullshit. Literally today, my wife was on
Yeah,
Exactly
because he's
Facebook
like
it.
he's the
Marketplace.
as seen on TV
Yeah,
infomercial.
because
guy.
my wife on Facebook Marketplace showed me that someone was trying to sell a Trump charcuterie board, like shaped in the shape of his face.
Oh,
and it's
damn.
like, who the fuck is
Yeah.
like
only I could
buying
get a
that in
cooking
the
with
first
Jack
place?
stamp on that.
Yeah,
I saw a crazy Trump shirt when I was there that it took a photo of. And I guess like if you're a Trump voter, you're more likely to be walking down the street in Vegas with a shirt that says, "Oh
Yes.
yeah, it was Trump and he was wearing American flag sunglasses doing double middle fingers and it said you missed."
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I went into gift shops and they had like a whole bunch of like Trump keychains and shit and no Kamala. And also they had this really dystopian huge like LCD screen that was but I think there's actually some shit about it on Twitter because you could like gamble on the election and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
showing like live updates on like basically like a Twitch Gamba.
yeah.
And Trump was sitting at like 62%. And I know that doesn't like align with the actual polls and
No.
probably people that are willing to gamble
Vegas,
on the election
the Vegas
skew
people
more.
majority are going to be Trump people too.
yeah.
Yeah.
The people who have like broken synapses in their brain where they're like, I just need someone to make everything good. Someone should make lottery tickets free.
If you go on Twitter, there's that when you do the search, they have all the ads that Elon's been buying, and I think it's like Poly Market, and it says like Trump's up 67% to like 33 or whatever. But like those aren't like real polls. It's just ads bought by
Mhm.
like Republican right wing people to be like, oh, look at this, we're gonna win. And then so if he does lose, they can again just be like, they stole it from us. The poll said we were going to win. And like,
Alex is so right, though.
None of it's real.
All of those guys, their politics are not even make America great again. Like the majority of the people that will even vote for Trump, they're mega guys. Make everything good again.
It's so far removed. It's so far removed from like classical liberalism or like what animated people around the Reagan years, or even like 20 years ago. It's just like we need to somehow kick the immigrants out, and then that should make games free. And like all the like the store where I live should make everything free, but only for white. Like that's basically what they believe.
Because fundamentally, what would change, right? It's just like who gets appointed to different courts that make life worse, because they're going to be equally bad for Palestinians. It's going to be equally bad for for deportations, right? So it's just really like window dressings from like what I can surmise.
The president doesn't have a button he can press that can make grocery stores charge less. Like, why would they ever want to do that?
No,
why would they want to do that?
We live in a capitalistic society. Like they don't give a fuck about us.
That's been their purpose the entire time. Was just
that's why
charge
they
as much as they humanly can and fuck you. That was their operating message the whole time. And now that people don't like it, it's like, well, come on, stop, come on.
Everything bad that could happen, that would be worse under Trump. It would. That's not what anybody that's like worried about. If they're voting about grocery prices, they don't give a fuck about anything that could be actually bad under Trump anyway. I don't know, because
they support
the grocery prices certainly isn't going to be something that could change fast. But the guy that Trump wants in charge of the border is the same guy that said, "I want 1 million deportations," and then he said a year, and the guy from ICE from Baltimore was like, we don't have that kind of detention in the U.S. And he's like, I did the numbers myself. The ICE guy is like, he's like, we would need $44 billion a year to do that.
It's like
we don't have those.
parody.
Yeah, he's like, because he was laughing about it. He's like, what? He's like, there is no plan for that sort of situation. He's like, there's nothing. He's like, we don't imagine that many agents trying to round up 1 million people a year. Like,
it would be like the whole economy.
that's like the extreme worst part of that would be like concentration camps, obviously.
Yeah.
Like that's what they would
Just
start
people
doing.
not even having like a toilet or what, just throwing people out into the desert.
Or just killing them, yeah.
And then the economy would get worse, and then the white people who are shooting up fentanyl and like scrolling through TikTok all day, they would blame that on black people. They would blame it on minorities again, when like no one wants to work at the farm in my town and I'm not going to do it.
The numbers against that, if we spent the money to do 1 million deportations per year, just removing those people, not even talking about the cost of like doing it, is a GDP hit of like $1.4 trillion or something.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like Americans
Very smart.
Americans have always like the American lifestyle is dependent on us like benefiting from this cheap labor source, whether it's like it was slaves originally and then it became people overseas, like people in banana plantations in the Caribbean where they were basically slaves, and then sweatshops in India and China. And it's like China gets more economic power, they don't have to do that anymore. Like there isn't a place where we can just force we can force brown people to work 18 hours a day so white people can get free shit. Like we're running out of that. And then the white people don't want to do it, and we certainly don't want to have socialism.
No.
So
certainly
like,
don't want to pay
I don't know what
anybody
you
to
do.
it.
I do. I'll bravely say it.
I don't
No,
know
you're
what
Canadian.
you do.
I want woke communism.
They want like the prices that we got from Temu that were based on sweatshop labor. But also, I don't ever want to have to see a brown person or have them around me, and also close the borders and only buy from Americans. But also, me and everybody I know doesn't want to work those jobs, and everybody I know is on EBT and they're shooting up fentanyl.
Yeah, we're on pills and I'm disabled, but I deserve to like have everything I want and never have to see a distasteful person again.
Like I want capitalism, but it's only white people, and it's somehow everything is super, super cheap.
There's got to be a lot of business owners out there that hate Trump's plans for immigration. That's literally their free labor, their slave labor.
Like the Chamber of Commerce people that are like,
a
wait
lot
a
of
minute,
farmers
like
and
didn't
shit
we
are going to
like
start voting for Kamala out of fear.
When DeSantis like had that like blanket like
That was so bad.
ban Yeah, it was so bad.
They
like
lost
all
so much
those places
produce.
just like, yeah, they just shut down because there's no workers. Because like,
And the white people aren't going to do it. They're just not going to do it. And the only way to get them to do it is to pay them $1,000 an hour. And then that'll make an avocado cost $200. And then they'll freak out about that.
DeSantis a few years ago did a mass sweep type situation on like a smaller level than that guy's plan. And a bunch of different fruit plantations and vegetable plantations all over Florida had to just close, and they lost like a season of
construction
shit because there was no construction had to like
produce
operations because there's
everything.
So much immigrant labor was just gone. And
yeah, so much illegal like quote unquote labor where they pay them under the table, pay them less than minimum wage, but like they had this like heavy hammer that like if you were caught with them, like you were going to jail, like all of this shit. In an effort
going back
to
Europe,
knock it off, and like they suffered, like everybody suffered, like nothing could get done
because people benefit from all that shit.
Yeah,
like people who are like, oh, they're just making everything in China, and then everything they buy, they're buying from China, and they could pay $2 more to get it from an American, but they don't want to. And like any change in that, like if Americans were working at these places, it would mean stuff costing $2, like a Monster Energy would cost $2 more. And that makes people want to fucking throw a brick through a window when that happens.
As it should. I need that.
Yeah, that's my stuff, and I need it, and I will fucking riot if it goes up by $2. But also the people who make it should be sent back to wherever they came from.
Yep.
I love when people like send us like toys for our daughter that like clearly like Temu or like Sheen or whatever, all this shit.
Poisonous.
And I look at it, I just go, I'm throwing this away. I don't fucking need this. I'm gonna give this away. I want to like, hopefully it doesn't poison somebody else, but I'm donating this because I don't want it. I don't need it, and it's just complete dog shit. Like, why would I ever get this? Why would I ever?
Yeah. It's like if you can't spend $10 on a kid, just don't even do it then.
Sorry about my microplastics.
I don't need like 6,000 things for my baby. Like that's like it gets overwhelming for her, where she's like kind of freaking out. Like, what do I play with? What do I do? I like pull a toy out and there's more. Like, oh, I gotta pull them out. Like, no, we need like it's just.
And then
a
as you get older,
like,
that goes away.
Yeah, and like
where like every relative that you know isn't just buying you toys. That's somehow that stops happening, and you're like, wait a minute.
Well, actually, it shouldn't stop happening. You should be 35 years old, sitting in your parents' basement, and all your relatives are still giving you $50 for your birthday.
Yeah, that is how it should work.
If I have kids, I'm only going to give them brain stuff. They're going to get those little metal puzzles that are stuck together that they got to undo that grandmas have. And then they're going to have the little golf tee game at Cracker Barrel.
Okay, yeah,
they're going to have
Barrel.
that when they're older. They don't want to choke on it. When they're younger, though, the only toy they're going to have from like 0 to 8 is Simon. And they're going to learn how to do the monkey thing.
Tom, what you were saying, I love whenever a post pops up of like someone who's an adult getting upset about their Christmas haul. Where it starts to happen when they're like 21 or 22, 23, and it's like, this Christmas is the worst Christmas ever.
You want to have this like giant like parent, this figure of a parent that's like Shadow Ganon or something that just comes and just smacks everybody. Like, shut the fuck up. I don't care about your fucking toys. You're a fucking loser.
What do I care about? Like, you got movies for Christmas. Awesome, man. What the fuck is
like,
wrong with
you're going to cry? You ruined my movies.
Twitter before
you
people
ruined
had
my
like
toys.
Before people had like social media shame or assumed anyone was ever going to read it or maliciously search it like I did, that was always a fun thing to do on Christmas, was search the Christmas crybabies that were like, no iPhone, cool, and they're like 28. Also searching people that were like, ground at 24, cool, like.
What?
Yeah, I used to search. I used to do a night every month where I do grounded adults night and just retweet everybody crying about being grounded and be like, 25 years old and grounded, real fucking fun.
Yeah, that can only happen if they have complete leverage over you.
Yeah,
maybe
awesome.
I don't know, move out.
But
well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to like make my own
right.
money or like have my own car or do any. I just want. I have to like use all of her stuff.
Another classic was usually Europeans and usually British people crying about their maids fucking shit up.
Oh, the maids!
Yeah.
The maids are always funny.
The maid.
I remember the maids one.
The maid complaining retweets.
Stupid maid threw away my.
Our maid is such a stupid cunt. She threw away my sweater.
That is so much of what politics is. It's white people being like, the fucking maid. We need to get rid of the maid.
I fucking hate
Get rid of the
help.
maids. They're
We need
to
to get rid of the Mexican maid that's like that cleans my room, and then it'll just get done. Well, I'm not gonna do it. It's just gonna get done somehow.
I shouldn't.
But we need the fucking bitch maid. She needs to go back home.
Calling your butler the man-made.
The man maid.
The man,
because he was made by a man. His parents, his dad.
A man-made's tale. Wow.
He was made at the sperm bank.
We can work on that one later. Yeah, I'd rob it. Give me all your cummy.
Ooh.
That's what
I
I'd
accidentally
say.
robbed the pee bank.
Would that be cool?
Oh, no.
Robbing a
In the
sperm
poop
bank and
bank.
saying, "Give me all your cummy."
Oh, that's
Give
good.
me all your cummies. Put the cummies in
nice.
the bag. They have to pour each individual thing into the bag.
Put the splooge in the bucket now. All of it.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I was gay.
The
Rob
person-
sperm
That would be
bank.
like my first. That would be Plan A.
That's
Plan
what
B would be Grinder.
the teller at the sperm bank. That's what they're called. It's like a regular bank. The teller at the sperm bank hitting the silent alarm, but you hear.
Yeah,
You
have to fill out a
You're like, hey.
I get my checks cashed at the sperm bank because I don't have a bank account, so I just give them my check, and then they just give me a jug of cum.
Yeah, big jug of sperm.
It's like a gallon of milk of just sperm.
Being a sperm bank robber and you spill some and you slip on it and tear your MCL, you like just land there.
I wonder if the sperm bank has a day like 7-Eleven where you can bring your own jug.
Oh, nice.
You can fill
They
it
give you
up
a lollipop,
for flat
too.
What would
fee.
7-Eleven be for cum day? I don't really know. We have to think about that.
I don't know,
What
but
about-
what I'm thinking of is
What about
is you're
Jan
at the
11?
sperm
'Cause it looks
bank.
like jam. That's like cum.
That kind of works. So you hold up the sperm bank and they hit the emergency stop button and it just dumps a bunch of cum on the person like they got slimed on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
No, but that's what
Yeah,
they
the door
want. That's
locks.
what then you think you'd be way happy. Like,
Yeah, but
thank
when they're
you, it's
distracted
hard.
like that, you can pull a gun out.
I guess if you're
No,
armed.
instead of the ink packet, they put some dog cum in there to taint it.
Yeah,
It's all unusable when that
Man.
explodes.
Yeah.
they put a gay guy's cum in it.
Yeah.
How scary?
have a gay
How scary
wyvern.
would that be? Being at the
oh,
sperm
dude, you know all
bank?
that cum that you stole and you just swallowed in front of us? That was a gay man's cum.
Oh no! Starts puking.
Yeah,
Fucking
How scary though would
Trying
it
to
be
wipe it
if
off
you
his
were at
tongue.
the sperm bank and it was getting robbed and you were in like the room jacking off and you had to like huddle down and
Oh, that
but
would
still
yeah.
trying to
That would
telling
suck.
the guy holding a gun be like, get on your stomach, and you're still trying to beat on.
He goes, "Get on your
Oh,
stomach."
scar,
And
dude.
you bust all over your
Yeah.
stomach. I thought you said get it on your stomach.
well, if I was the robber, I would let the guy finish and just be like, put it in this bag.
Yeah.
It's a bag that. What would the bag have instead of a $sign?
The robber saying it like a fucking drug
like a
test. I
cartoon
better not hear
sperm,
you
yeah,
flush.
like a smile.
I better not hear a flush in there like it's a drug test.
Yeah,
That'd be cool. Treating somebody that's donating their sperm like it's a drug test. I actually got to watch you do it, and I don't want you to flush. What?
yeah. And you better not bring a fake dick that has fake cum in it.
This synthetic cum? Yeah, this isn't real. Oh, I don't know. Why'd you use fake cum? I don't really know. I thought. Never mind.
The sperm bank scammer keeps
Yeah.
jacking off a fake.
Like you do the entire screening, like they do like genetic testing on you. They're like checking out your family background and stuff, and they're like, all right, you're okay, and then you're still bringing in fake cum from the
Like
internet.
$100 a
You're
pop.
like, I'm just really nervous about becoming a father.
Yeah, it's actually my friend's cum.
That's so awesome.
There's a whole bunch of guys calling that I know. We all just want to be fathers together.
I'm doing this for my friend who has AIDS, and he can't become a sperm donor, and he really wanted to give the sperm.
I wonder how many fucking losers try to become a sperm donor and they just get laughed out of there. Like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I can get paid to jack off. Awesome.
I couldn't even donate blood or plasma. They were like, "Oh, fuck out of here, man."
Like a big fat like outlaw belly with the shirt riding up. Being like, all right, I'm here to donate some sperm.
The Red Cross wouldn't let me donate blood because they said I was pejoratively gay. Dude, you're gay in like the middle school sense.
Yeah.
You're a fucking loser. Get out of here.
No, I saw
we
the
do
way you were
appreciate
walking when you came in. Get out of here.
You know, as much as we joke about the sperm bank, I do appreciate how they help people with sperm cramps, and they, you know, they're raising all that money to.
Yeah, it's nice that the doctor
cramps
helps
and
you do
cure
it.
Also, like if you need a transplant, they got it all there for you.
Yeah.
If you have your nuts strained and you need them filled up again really quick. Rich people do that now. It's like how rich people get the IVs after hangovers. After they nut, they have someone else's sperm injected into their nut sack, then they're full sack again, ready to go.
Yeah, and porn actors.
Yep.
Porn actors have to do that.
That's how Peter North.
Yeah.
Peter North used to bust those huge loads because they injected a bunch of sperms into his nuts.
Yeah, he would have to go to the sperm bank every day.
Oh, wow.
You know who would love working at the sperm bank?
Yes.
Slim Cat.
Okay. Yeah,
oh,
true.
yeah.
Slim Cat was my African friend that used to ask me to jack off.
To show the
sperms, freak.
What's up, my freak?
Yeah, show me sperms.
Yep.
Him doing like a Nigerian print scam, but it's like we need money so we can withdraw 5,000 million sperms out of the sperm bank here, and I'll give you half of it.
We need to make we need to make a new dollar sign for sperms.
I'm the president of the sperm bank
for the currency.
Yeah,
500,000 million sperms, please.
Curl up the tail into like the S, and then put the line through it.
Perfect.
That's a good idea. Can someone draw that?
I'm the prince of the sperm palace in Lagos.
Can we get a sperm dollar sign? Ooh, that's a good rap name too.
Yeah,
sperm dollar.
Sperm dollar sign. Yeah.
But you're not allowed to say it like sperm dollar sign. It has to be
everyone
like...
check out kick.com.
They arrested Lil Durk for killing sperm dollar sign.
Check out our stream
check
on
out
kick.com.
Rumble. Check out BitChute. Check out Ogrish.
Check out Patreon. Check out the Patreon.
Rotten.org.
Remember to vote.
Subscribe.
Check out.
Subscribe and
vote for whoever.
Check out
Give us
eFucked.
$10,000.
So cool.
Oh God, damn it, dude.